Hi, I'm Jerry Aliberti, owner of Pro-Accel. In this video, we're going to talk about what's required and what's needed to be an effective project manager in the construction business. Every construction project needs effective project management to be successful. I don't care how great your estimate is, your field crews need to be just as skilled as good estimators. Project managers in the construction industry oversee making sure projects are finished on schedule and within budget. And of course, it's all got to be done and within the specified standard of quality that's called out in the specs and the plans. Project managers oversee a construction project. It can be very difficult. It can be a very complex undertaking. So even the most experienced project managers can fail in delivering a consistent project execution plan. Over the past 20 years, I've ran several $100 million of my own work in addition to estimating. Over the past couple of years, I've talked to many small, mid, and large-sized contractors all around the country. I've gathered 8 effective habits and traits that a good project manager must have. First, we're going to start with mindset. It's really, really difficult to be the number one person on a project where all the chaos and all the decision making is getting funneled into. So burnout and mental health are really, really important. It all boils down to mindset as well. You need to understand that you're building cities and you're building all the necessary infrastructure that's required for any neighborhood, for any civilized civilization. That's something to really, really be proud of. So having that mindset that you're a part of something much, much bigger than just your career is really critical. Also, burnout and mental health, you need to really be able to take advantage of your time off. If your employee gives you 3 weeks, 4 weeks, take full advantage of all those weeks off. I know so many project managers, they only utilize half their vacation time. You got to take your vacation time. Pretty soon we're going to talk about how to have your project self-run itself so you can take that vacation. So number 2, you always have to have a sense of urgency to be a good, effective project manager. Once that shovel hits the ground, that project needs to move fast and it needs to be able to move efficiently. Okay? So schedules are tighter than ever. You know, I mean, I remember 20 years ago, what would have normally been a 24-month job needs to get done in 18 months. So you need to have a sense of urgency, but it also takes being organized to be able to streamline a project as well. Number 3, communicate. You need to have your morning huddles where everybody, including your subcontractors, are included. They need to be short and sweet, and you need to be able to talk about what your expectations are and the issues that lie ahead, including, of course, safety. You need to have look-ahead schedules. I used to love doing my 2-week look-ahead schedules. You're going to have so many oh crap moments. It's going to be guaranteed you will have oh crap moments. I recommend 4-week schedules as well and 6-week look-ahead schedules. You need to have meaningful meetings. Everybody who needs to be a part of the meeting needs to have. You need to assign tasks for each bullet point for each of those meeting topics. The next meeting, you need to go back to the previous meeting and you need to follow up on what was done and what wasn't done on that assigned tasks. You should also utilize something called pull planning, which is a very big tool in lean construction. Pull planning is a really good, valuable way to bring subs and everybody together and everyone has buy-in to a schedule. Number 4, plan, and plan some more. You need to really know your role. A foreman, how I view a foreman is a foreman looks at what's needed for that day and a couple of days ahead. A super needs to understand what needs to happen that day, a couple of days ahead, and maybe a week or 2 ahead of schedule. A project manager needs to understand what's happening that day, a couple of weeks ahead of schedule, a few weeks ahead, and a couple of months ahead. you need to really be able to plan, and you need to have good people a part of your team who you can delegate tasks properly so you can plan properly as well. Number 5, you need to get your submittals and your paperwork done as soon as possible. I've talked to some really successful construction companies. They said the reason why they're able to get all their jobs or complete all their projects ahead of schedule is because they get their submittals and their paperwork done even before they start the project. Of course, purchase orders and things are going to happen later on. You want to be able to prioritize, but this is where good task delegation comes into play, and this is where good planning comes into play. You need to have a good team that's assembled earlier enough so you can get your submittals done. Number 6, understanding your budgets. I know very few project managers who've ever spent enough time in estimating to really understand what a budget is. Because you have $100,000 to perform a task, it doesn't mean you actually have $100,000. How much of that $100,000 is overhead and profit? If it's a unit price project, was that unit price bid up because it's an overrun? Was it bid down because it's an underrun? You really need to understand this logic. And this is why I'm always pushing my clients to have good synergy within the estimating and the field departments. It's really important. Number 7, resource allocation and equipment forecasting. This is especially important for labor-intensive trades, especially in the heavy civil world where they have really expensive equipment. You need to really understand how you're allocating your resources. You don't want equipment just sitting around that's collecting dust that you're paying a rental on, right? You need to understand what equipment you should be renting, what equipment you should be leasing, what equipment maybe you should be buying. How long is that project? Is it worth it to buy something that you only need for a couple of months? This goes back to the good planning and the look-ahead schedules, so you have that equipment and you have those resources on the project when you need them. And number 8, streamlining your processes. This goes back to the first part where you're able to take your vacations and know that your project's being run on its own. Every project has a certain amount of processes that are typical that you can break down and assign certain tasks, certain roles for a field engineer, for an office engineer, for a super, for a foreman, for an assistant project manager, maybe an operations manager. Every project, every business needs to have processes in place so you can scale. It's a fantastic feeling when you're running a 2-year project and after 6 months, the project starts running itself. So this is what I got. These were the 8 habits and the 8 traits that I feel is required for effective project management. Overall, a PM needs to balance many moving parts, including the many personalities. I hope this helps, and I'm really looking forward to your comments.